exactly what you want to see. Let's run this puppy in. Score a touchdown and tie this game. Life, run for your life, touchdown on one play. Worked on this in practice. Touchdown. It's up to Kelvin Benjamin. This is all you, buddy. Kelvin Benjamin for a touchdown. Oh, he toasted his man. Holmes toasted his man. Spin move. Oh! Oh! What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the World of Juice channel. And it's about that time, ladies and gentlemen, that we start back up the retro rebuild series that I did and I started back on Madden 21 on the PC. That's right, we are going to be going back to the PC. We have to be going back to the PC because the only way to do this is with the mods, thanks to the great modding community on Madden. We are going to be going back to PC Madden, so we won't have the next-gen feel to the game, but it won't matter because the next-gen feel is not that big of a deal anyway. So we are going back to the PC for Madden 22 mods. It's been the reason it has taken so long to get the retro rebuilds kind of back into the flow of the channel is because the release of Madden for the start didn't allow you to mod, but now modders have been able to get in. They are able to mod the game, and I've got some pretty cool stuff coming out on the channel. Depending on when this video gets uploaded, you may have already seen it, maybe not, depending, like I said, depending on when it comes up. But there's some pretty cool stuff coming out on the channel in the next week or two. So I hope you guys are excited for that. But I'm excited to get back into the rebuilds of the retro variety. Enough of this rebuilding modern day Madden. We don't need to do that. We need to rebuild stuff that happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, stuff before you guys were even born. That's when we're going back, because I guarantee you that at least 90% of the people watching this video were not born the year that we are recording this. I was just a little tiny little baby. Well, I wasn't a tiny little baby. I was like 3 years old at this point, but we are going to be going back to 2003. Well, technically 2002, because we are going to be using the Madden 03 rosters to rebuild. That's right. Let's take a quick look at this roster. I'm going to be using the Atlanta Falcons for this rebuild, and there's one reason and one reason only that we're going to be using the Atlanta Falcons for this series. It's because we have Michael Vick as the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons. And if you guys remember, 2002, 2003, and 2004 were about Michael Vick's best years as an NFL pro. So he's got 96 speed, 98 excel, 96 agility. He's going to be a fun player to use in this series. And he's only 1 year pro. So we are going to be starting back at 2003. These are the 2002 rosters, the 2003 Madden game. So if you guys can picture the 2003 Madden, then these are the rosters that would have been on that game. We can take a look. We'll obviously go around the league and see some of the big names. Now, I do want to clarify a few things. One, we are using the Atlanta Falcons. We are using the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons that was the head coach of this season. Now, he did get fired like 13 games in to this season, but, well, actually, that might be next year that he gets fired. Because, because he gets fired 13 games into the 2003 season. This is technically the 2002 season with the Madden 03 roster, or with the Madden 03 thing. So, like, you guys get it. You guys get it. But we are using Dan Reeves as the head coach because he was the head coach during this time of the Atlanta Falcons. Now, one of the reasons why I chose to be the Atlanta Falcons is because they had Mike Vick. But another reason is because I recently learned that Dan Reeves passed away on January 1st, 2022. So he just passed away, literally this week, depending on when this video goes up. It could have been like 2 or 3 days ago at this point. When I'm recording this, he just passed away like 2 days ago. So that is absolutely wild. So I felt like we had to do the honor of honoring him by usering him as the head coach of this team and not firing him. The coach firing is off except for CPU. CPU can fire their coaches if they want, but we will not get fired as Dan Reeves is the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. I know he might not have been the best head coach in real life of the Atlanta Falcons, but we'll turn that around. This is not only a retro rebuild of the Falcons, it's a retro rebuild of Dan Reeves' head coaching career. So rest in peace to Dan Reeves. He just passed away. But we are going to honor him by using him as the head coach throughout this series in the retro rebuild. So that's the main thing that I wanted to talk about. Now, the other thing that I wanted to warn you guys about is these older rosters with some of these older players that haven't been in Madden for a while. The portraits, you know how you see Mike Vick right here? He's got his actual, that's what Mike Vick looks like. That's his portrait. So some of the portraits for these older rosters don't necessarily look like what the actual player looks like. So I just wanted to warn you guys before you see some of these funny, there's some funny ones on here of the portrait for the player that looks nothing like it's a whole different person. So I just wanted to warn you guys on that before you get in the comments with your sausage fingers saying, oh, Jews, those aren't the right pictures for what those guys look like. You got to know that. I get it. There's nothing I can do. I just loaded up the roster. I downloaded the roster off of Discord. So if you guys want to get any of these rosters, any of these draft classes that I use, just go to the Madden Modders Discord, and they have all that stuff down there. You can download so much stuff. You can download rosters. You can download college football. You can download draft classes. You can download so much stuff. Start today mods. There's so much. Just go to the Madden Modders community Discord page, and you'll be able to find anything that you need. And they have people there that if you ask questions, they can help you and stuff. So it's a great place to go. Shout out to them because they provided the rosters and they provided the mods to be able to put this together. So if you guys have a PC, you guys have Madden 22, and you guys can get these rosters too, and you can play along with me. So I think that's everything that I needed to mention before we get into this, because there's some funny portraits on here. There's portraits of guys that haven't been in the game for a while that are completely different people. There's people that don't have an actual portrait, it's just invisible. And then there's people that have a silhouette. So there's 3 different varieties of portraits for players. So we'll get into that. Let's take a look at the Falcons roster. Going to quarterback, we obviously have Michael Vick, the one of the main reasons why I wanted to be the Falcons in this series. Plus, they're not super good in these older times, so we get that added benefit of trying to rebuild them. They also have Doug Johnson. Here's one of the invisible portraits. So Doug Johnson does not have a portrait. We get Warrick Dunn. Now that does not look like Warrick Dunn, does it? So you're just gonna have to look past it. We have Warrick Dunn, we have Travis Jervey, we have TJ Duckett, and we have Maurice Smith. Now, a lot of people back in the day, including myself, used to call this combination DVD. You used to have Warrick Dunn be the 1D, then Michael Vick is the V, and then TJ Duckett is the other D. So you got DVD. That's a nice combination. Nice 1-2-3 punch right there. Now, TJ Duckett is a rookie out of Michigan State, so he's not going to... Hopefully, he develops a little bit more. Warrick Dunn is more seasoned, more established in the league. We have Bob Christian and George Lane as our 2 fullbacks. We don't need 2 fullbacks, so we will get rid of one of those guys. Now, the wide receiver core needs a lot of work. We have Brian Finneran. We have Trevor Gaylor. Darian Chiaverini? I've never heard of this man in my life. Darren Chiaverini, I think is how you say it. I don't know who that is. Sean Jefferson, Quentin McCord, and Khalil Hill as our wide receivers. This is shockingly bad. So we are going to definitely need to do some work either in the season with trading for some players or drafting. Definitely going to have to do something to try and fix this team because they are shockingly bad. Tight ends, we got Algie Crumpler, Reggie Kelly, Brian Kozlowski, and Alex Gray. This is before the time of Tony Gonzalez. He is still a Kansas City Chief, if I'm not mistaken. Offensive line, Bob Whitfield, Travis Claridge, Kevin Schaefer, Todd McClure, Roberto Garza, who was a young Roberto Garza. I didn't know he was even on this team. Kynan Forney, and Todd Weiner. Yeah, that's right. We got a Weiner on the team, boys. Todd Weiner. Michael Thompson as well. We might just keep him around just because of his name. Brady Smith and Karan Riley are the 2 left ends. Patrick Kearney, Reggie McGrew and Ronald Flemings are the right ends. Defense tackle, Ellis Johnson, Ed Jasper, Travis Hall. Left outside linebacker, Mark Simonu, who I think is a white guy, if I'm not mistaken. His portrait shows somebody totally different. Sam Rogers and Will Overstreet. Keith Brooking, one of our major building blocks. John Holacek? Holacek? I'm not sure. Artie Ulmer. There's some weird pronunciations in this. I mean, you guys know how bad I am at pronunciations. Matt Stewart, Chris Draft, John Thierry, and Jeff Kelly are the right outside linebackers. Corners, Huron Bolden? Not sure. Ashley Ambrose, who sounds like a female. Ray Buchanan, Kevin Mathis, Alan Rossum, Rodney Heath, and Fred Weary. This guy right here sounds like he drinks Starbucks and has Ugg boots. That's just what his name sounds like. Keon Carpenter, John Dale Carty, Henry Jones are the free safeties. Gerald McBurrows, Kevin McAdam. Why are there so many Micks in this team? God, this is crazy. Those are the strong safeties. Jay Feely and Chris Moore are the kicker and punter. We have a lot of draft picks. We have a first, 2 seconds, a third. After this second is for Julio Jones. A fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and a seventh. So we got some picks to work with here. Let's take a look around the league and see some of the big name guys from 2002/2003. So at quarterback, we got Brett Favre, Donovan McNabb, Peyton Manning and his huge forehead, Rich Gannon, who I considered doing a Raiders rebuild because of John Madden's passing, but I chose the Falcons because I wanted to play with Mike Vick. Drew Bledsoe, his first year on the Bills. Then we got Mike Vick, Jeff Garcia, Brad Johnson, Dante Culpepper. That is not Dante Culpepper. That's not Trent Green. Aaron Brooks, Steve McNair, Tom Brady, 86 overall, 25-year-old quarterback, 2 years in the league. This is his first year as the official starter. Obviously, he came in last year for Drew Bledsoe when he got hurt. Kerry Collins, a young Drew Brees, Matt Hasselbeck, Jake Plummer, Brian Greasy. That's not Brian Greasy. Mark Brunell, that's definitely not Chad Pennington. I didn't know Chad Pennington had that much melatonin in him. Tim Couch, Tommy Maddox, Kurt Warner, John Kitna, Jay Fiedler, Mark Bolger, Cordell Stewart, Trent Dilford, David Carr, and then we get into the bad players. Joey Harrington for sure, bad player. Then we get to running backs: Priest Holmes, Marshall Falk, Deuce McAllister, LaDainian Thomas, and Fred. That is certainly not Fred Taylor. Amon Green, Corey Dillon, Edgerrin James. Some of them have their right pictures, but a lot of them don't. Ricky Williams, Eddie George, Clinton Portis, Curtis Martin, Charlie Garner, Sean Alexander, Michael Bennett. Hey, look at that! They put Michael Bennett's picture for a certain Michael Bennett. There's probably been a lot of Michael Bennett's in the NFL, but there's been two that I know of for sure. This Michael Bennett from the Seahawks, and then the one from the Buckeyes, who's not as good, but he's pretty good. But they put the Seahawks Michael Bennett as his portrait. That's pretty funny. Work done. Tiki Barber, James Stewart, Steven Davis, Garrison Hurst, who used to be a stud back in the day. Jamal Lewis, Jamel White, Michael Pittman. Ooh, Michael Pittman. Deuce Staley. That's not Deuce Staley. Jerome Bettis, Travis Henry, Tyrone Wheatley, Emmitt Smith down here. Old Emmitt Smith. Is there anybody else down here? And you got to remember Rudy Johnson too. This is 2002/2003, so a lot of the guys are going to be coming in draft classes that you guys know. Mike Allstott, Lorenzo Neal. There's not really a lot of fullbacks that you guys probably recognize. Heath Evans, maybe. Wide receivers, here's where we get the good stuff. Terrell Owens, Marvin Harrison, Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, yes, still in the league. Hines Ward, Eric Moulds, Joe Horn, Donald Driver, Isaac Bruce, Rod Smith, Jimmy Smith, Marty Booker, Keyshawn Johnson, semi-young Keyshawn Johnson, Torrey Holt, Tim Brown, Derek Mason, Reggie Wayne, super young Reggie Wayne, Amani Toomer, Lavernius Cole, Steve Smith, Chris Chambers, Troy Brown, Keenan McCardle, Rod Gardner, Mushin Muhammad. So many good names. Calvin Johnson. Chad Johnson. Chad Ochocinco is here. Chris Carter is here. A super old Chris Carter. Santana Moss. David Patton. David Boston, who's not white. Plaxico Burris. Terry Glenn. Joey Galloway. Rest in peace, Terry Glenn. Who else is here? Andre Davis, Herman Moore, Ed McCaffrey, old Ed McCaffrey. That's Christian McCaffrey's dad. That's how long we're going back into this, boys. That's Christian McCaffrey's dad right there. Dante Stallworth, Chris Walsh. There's some good names. Deion Branch, look at that. That's Deion Branch right there. That's not Deion Branch, if you didn't know. Who else is down here? Anybody else? Peter Ward. Talk about guys that didn't work out. Peter Warrick. Man, there's some good names in here. Yes, Tony Gonzalez still is on the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought so. Todd Heap, Jeremy Shockey, Shannon Sharp, Bubba Franks, Marcus Pollard, Kyle Brady, Algie Crumpler's our tight end. Not really a whole lot of good tight ends back in the day. It was really very top-heavy in the early 2000s with good tight ends. Nowadays, it's more even, but back in the day, it wasn't. Orlando Pace, Trey Thompson? I don't know how to say that. I think it's Trey Thompson. Jonathan Ogden, Walter Jones, Tarek Glenn, Willie Rofe is still here. Bryant McKinney, our rookie Bryant McKinney. That's pretty cool. Matt Light, that's Chuba Hubbard's thing, is it? Wayne Gandy, I remember that dude. That dude is old. So am I, though. I was 3 years old when this game came out. When Madden 03 came out, I was 3 years old. I had just turned 3 that June. That's pretty cool. I think, right? Is that right? Yeah, that's right. That's right. I just turned 3. Alan Faneca, or Faneca, however you want to pronounce it. I never know how to pronounce it. I've heard it both ways. Larry Allen, Brian Waters. Who else is here? Oh, Tom Nutton. Tom Nutton, man. We got Wiener and Nutton. We got to get Tom Nutton on the team. You got Wiener on the team. You got Nutton on the team. Oh, man, there's some names. Steve Hutchinson, young Steve Hutchinson. See, there's some potential here for trade pieces. Potential for trade pieces. That is certainly not Olin Kravitz. Jeremy Newberry, Kevin Mawe or Mawe. I never know how to pronounce it. I'm going to say Mawe because I think it's how you pronounce it. Damian Woody, Jeff Saturday. That's not Jeff Saturday. Some of these portraits, I don't know what they were. Tim Rudy, too. I don't know what they were thinking on why they chose these portraits for these guys. Will Shields, Jermaine Mayberry, Frank Middleton, LaCharles Bentley, rookie LaCharles Bentley. That's awesome. Right tackle, Lincoln Kennedy, Leonard Davis, Willie Anderson, John Runyon, who I think is now in, like, the government. I think he's like a mayor or something. John Jansen. Anybody else down here? Oh, there's Todd Wiener. There's the Wiener man. Hugh Douglas, Kevin Carter, Gary Walker, Trevor Price, rookie Julius Peppers. We got to try and trade for rookie Julius Peppers. That is for sure. I don't know how hard some of these guys are going to be to trade for. I don't know how much they value them. It's going to be very interesting. Not really anybody else down here on the left ends. Right ends, we got, this is where, right end was stacked back in the day. You got Jason Taylor, Michael Strahan, Simeon Rice, John Abraham, Richard Seymour. Bruce Smith was still here. He was older, but he was still here. Justin Smith was young. Dwight Freeney was a rookie. Javon Curse. Kabir Gabaja Biamila. I mean, are you kidding me? You got Mike Rucker. There's some decent names down here. Then we go to defensive tackles. Warren Sapp, Leroy Glover, Chris Jenkins. Who else is down here? Ted Washington, old Ted Washington. John Henderson, young John Henderson. Pat Williams, Sean Rogers. Oh, there's some good names. Booger McFarland with... That's funny. Anthony McFarland is the portrait, but that's the new Anthony McFarland, not Booger McFarland. Who else is down here? There's got to be some names down here. John Randall, old John Randall from the Vikings. I didn't realize some of these guys played this late into their careers. LeVar Arrington, Julian Peterson, Mike Peterson, Mark Fields, Bill Romanowski, Mark Simonu. Not really a whole lot of good left outside linebackers. Vrabel's here. Brian Urlacher, Zach Thomas, Ray Lew. This is where it gets good. Middle linebacker has always been one of the best positions in the NFL, but back in the day there was some names. Urlacher, Thomas, Ray Lewis, Keith Brooking, Al Wilson, London Fletcher. Then we get down here a little bit later with James Ferrier, and you got Dan Morgan, Marvin Jones, and they put... So it seems like when there's a guy with the same name as a player in the league now, they're going to put the portrait of the player that's in the league now. Teddy Bruschi was here. A little bit harsh on the overall. 67 overall for Teddy Bruschi. I don't know about that. Bart Scott is a rookie. That's awesome. Wait, is this Najee Harris? Oh, Napoleon Harris. I thought there was another guy in the league named Najee Harris. Larry Foote. Right outside linebacker, Derek Brooks, Junior Seau, Joey Porter, Keith Bullock, Peter Bulwer, Takeo Spikes. That dude's a demon. Then you get down here a little bit later. You got guys like James Harrison, who's a rookie. There's definitely going to be some room for some trades. I'm telling you that right now. Champ Bailey, Ty Law, Patrick Surtain Sr., not his son, Sam Madison, Aaron Glenn, Troy Vincent, Rondé Barber. That kind of ruins the immersion for me with a white guy has the portrait of Rondé Barber, but it works. Bobby Taylor, Charles Woodson, Deltha O'Neal, Aeneas Williams, Sean Springs, Chris McAllister, Will Allen, Jason Sehorn, the last white corner to start in the league since Troy Apke. Antoine Winfield, I don't know why I say it so weird. Andre Dyson, Fred Smoot. Man, R.W. McCorders. You're a real OG if you remember R.W. McCorders. Brian Dawkins, Rod Woodson, Darren Sharper, Sammy Knight, Brock Marion, not Moran. Roy Williams. Who you got? Tabucky Jones. You gotta love Tabucky Jones, man. Devin Bush. The other Devin Bush. I hope this doesn't ruin the immersion for you guys with these portraits. I can't control it. I didn't make the roster. Lawyer Malloy, John Lynch, Darren Woods. I would have preferred just like either no picture or like what Darren Woodson has with the silhouette. I would have preferred that, but hey, it is what it is, I guess. Lawyer Malloy, John Lynch, Darren Woodson, Sean Williams, Reggie Tung, Adam Archuleta. That dude is, I forgot about him. Rodney Harrison, Ed Reed, Mike Minter. I'm surprised they didn't put, because it's Griffith. I was going to say, I'm surprised they didn't put RG3's picture in there, but it's Griffith, it's Griffith, not Griffin for what Griffin is. Adrian Wilson. Forgot about Adrian Wilson. That's his picture, actually. I didn't think they'd have his picture in there. That's pretty cool. Kickers. Adam Vinatieri, obviously, always number one. David Akers. Morton Anderson, 20 years in the league. I'm pretty sure, didn't Morton Anderson win the MVP one year? I'm pretty sure he did. Maybe Gary Anderson. One of the Andersons did it. Jason Elam, John Carney, Jason Hansen, Martin Grammatica. Oh, man, that's Automatica right there. Matt Stover, Ryan Longwell, Lindo Mare. Oh, Lindo Mare. Wow, some of these names, man. Seabass, Jay Feely, our kicker, Phil Dawson. Good names, good names. Punter, Todd Sauerbrunn, Chris Hansen, Craig Hendrick. Is that Devontae? It is Devontae Adams. Shane Leckler. Some of these names, some of these portraits are funny. And that's the big names of the 2002 technically roster, 2003 game. And yeah, this is gonna be our new series on the channel. Obviously, once we get, so if you guys don't know how this works, here's how it works. We start with the year of the roster that we are using. So we're starting back in 2002 with this roster. This is Madden 03. This is the 2003 roster, or 2002 roster. So the draft class that we will use, I'll finish explaining when we get to the week number 1, so that you guys can see for yourselves what's going on. So I'll see you guys at week number 1. All right, so here we are at the start of week number 1. Now, the reason why I cut it off there at the beginning was because I wanted to actually get ready for the draft class to be loaded in so you guys can actually see it. So here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be importing a local file. You guys, if you guys remember last year's Madden 21 retro rebuilds, we went through the years and we drafted the actual draft classes that were in real life with the times. So we're starting with 2003, or if you guys are not familiar with 2003, Carson Palmer was the number 1 pick in that draft by the Bengals out of USC, Heisman winner. So we'll go through quickly some of the big names in this draft class. Carson Palmer, Byron Leftwich, Kyle Bowler, Rex Grossman, Sexy Rexy, by the way, Seneca Wallace, Chris Sims, Drew Henson. Everybody thought he was going to be a stud, but he didn't turn out to be anything. Cliff Kingsbury, drafted by the Patriots, I'm pretty sure. Ken Dorsey, Tony Romo's in this class. There's some decent names in here. Willis McGahee, Larry Johnson, Musa Smith. There's not really a ton of running backs in this class. Wide receivers, you got Charles Johnson, Andre Johnson, Anquan Bolden, Nate Burleson, Brandon Lloyd. So once we get closer to actual present day, the draft classes will start having everybody's portrait in there instead of just created people. But it is what it is, I guess. I guess you couldn't find the classes or the portraits. Dallas Clark, it's not a big deal. Dallas Clark at tight end. Jason Witten, Vashante Shanko, Donald Lee, however you say his name. Antonio Gates is in this draft class as well. Kwame Harris, not really a great left tackle class. Left guard, not anything too spectacular. Center, you've got Dan Copen, I guess, is the best one out of that one. David Deal is pretty good in the right guard class. Right tackle, Jordan Gross is really good. Wade Smith is okay, not too great. Pass rushers, nothing crazy. Corey Redding. Right ends, you've got Calvin Pace and Osayi Minyora. Those are pretty good ones. And Robert Mathis. So you got some good options at right end that we could possibly take. Kevin Williams at D tackle. Dan Kletko, I guess. Terrell Suggs, T Sizzle. Matt Wilhelm out of Ohio State. Tully Bantakane. Middle linebacker, EJ Henderson. Nick Barnett. C. Grant out of Ohio State. I think that's how you say his name. Right outside linebacker, you got Lance Briggs. You've got Cato June, if anybody remembers Cato June. Probably not. Why would you? Cornerback, Terrence Newman, Marcus Trufant, Nnamdi Asomugha, Charles Peanut Tillman, Rasheed Mathis, Drayton Florence, Ricky Manning. There's some good names in the cornerback class that we could possibly go for. Eugene Wilson in the free safety class. Donnie Nicky. Not the greatest free safety class. Strong safety, Troy Polamalu, obviously. Mike Doss. USC had some good teams back in the day. The early 2000s. Kickers, you got Josh Brown. Punters, you got nobody really. So that's the 2003 draft class. That's who we're going to be drafting from at the end of the season. I hope you guys did enjoy this little intro back into the retro rebuilds because I'm super excited to get back into them. I love doing these last year. We did ones with the Dolphins. We did one with the Browns. Did we do one with the... We did one with the Rams, I'm pretty sure. No, that was the Bust-a-Balla rebuild. I don't think we did one with the Rams that was a retro rebuild. I can't remember exactly, but I'm super excited to get back into them. I hope you guys are too. Next video is going to be exciting because we're going to be doing week number 1. And I got to remember how we actually did the series. We didn't play every game. I know that. I think we simulated and then played a good game. I'll go back and look at some of the other videos and see how we did it. But without further ado, that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching. I appreciate you guys, as always. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. I'm excited for the next episode. I hope you guys are too. That's going to do it for me. See you guys in the next one. Peace.